I want to build a Minecraft house. But this isn't going to be any Minecraft house because you are watching Alpine One. So here's the plan. I have an empty lot down by the beach here in the Minecraft city of Sequoia based on the neighborhood of West Vancouver. So before I place a single block, we'll ride out to the actual site location. I'll draw up a proper site plan with every tree, cliff, the river, and the views. We'll go back up to West Vancouver and explore the site of one of the most legendary mid-century modern houses ever built. We'll go up the side of the mountains in West Vancouver to find lots of inspiration, maybe have a little bit of trouble with the nail, and if I manage to make it home, then at that point, we will build a Minecraft house. Starting with the structure, then moving to interior partition walls, appliances, furniture location, all while considering the circulation, natural ventilation of the air flowing through the house based on climate data. We'll explore the implications of daylight throughout each time of day and time of year, and we will apply green building design techniques such as solar panels and water collection. So this, my friends, is how to build a Minecraft house like an architect. Given that the Minecraft terrain of our city is based on the real-life terrain of Metro Vancouver, let's go see what my Minecraft house slot actually looks like in person. It's down by the beach, so I'd be willing to bet it's probably pretty nice.
We are now at the site location of where I'm going to build my Minecraft house. Not here, it's down there. But let me get ready, and then we'll go down. All right, fellas. Here we are in the neighborhood of West Vancouver. Got my bike behind me. And yeah, let's go down to the beach. I know I'm not exactly dressed for the beach, but that's okay. What an adventure. Not too bad. Yeah, get it, buddy. Come on, get the ball. I'm gonna find a little spot to set my stuff down. It's not bad. How about this? This works. Alrighty, nice spot. I'm wondering if I can see downtown from here. Oh, I can see a little bit. Pretty cool spot. You got some big rocks. You got the beach. That's not too bad. Little dog over there playing. He did end up getting the ball, by the way. Something I find pretty interesting. These are all real fancy houses along the beach here, but a lot of them have little staircases that go all the way down, just like that behind me. And you have little patio furniture right down there too, which is kind of nice. I am kind of curious though, what's going on back here. There's seems to be a lot of water dripping. I don't know if I could get in here without getting wet. Wait, I have an idea. I'll send you in there instead. You guys tell me what you see. Rocks, probably. So you have a tree line there, a little bit of a ravine here, and then this is the coastline with north going up this way. So that means that over here you're going to get the afternoon sun. Here, since this actually drops down, this is going to give you the morning sunlight, but in the evening you're not going to get as much of it because of this tree line here. And then up this way is the mountains.
Now that we have a picture of what the site looks like in person, I have a fancy new overhead camera rig that I'd like to use to draw out the site plan. Since I'm using grid paper, 1 square is equal to 1 block. I'll start by mapping out the location of every tree adjacent to my site, followed by the location of the cliff. Next, I'll grab some tracing paper, overlay the trees, the cliff, and map out where the low trees are versus the ones with the higher branches. I have to pay particular attention to these 2 trees with lower branches because the footprint of the house matters a lot more when you're up close. You need to be careful where you place the house, because if you have the foundation too close to the trees, the roots may grow into the foundation over time and cause problems. It's just something to be aware of. Further, I will make a handful of notes saying that the terrain of the house lot itself is flat, the river is on the southeast section which flows into the ocean to the south. I will also make a note that there is a beautiful city view to the southeast. Now, looking back on this site plan, it does kind of look a little weird. It looks like a face with 2 eyeballs. It's a little creepy, but it's fine. I promise you it's not going to stay like that for long, and it's going to look a lot prettier in-game. With the site plan complete, I'd like to go back up to West Vancouver to explore the site of one of the most legendary mid-century modern houses of all time, the Graham House. Designed by Arthur Erickson and Geoffrey Massey in 1962, this house was built on the side of a steep, rocky cliff with the ocean below. Each level stepped down to the next, with a terrace on every roof. This house prioritized maximum access to sunlight and views of the surrounding glacier-carved fjord. Over time, the owners created additions which architectural critics and historians say compromised the original vision. The house had fallen into neglect and had been battered for 45 years by the Pacific Northwest climate. In December 2007, the house was demolished. It is believed the house was demolished to make way for a new, larger house, but as of 2026, the site remains vacant and overgrown. However, I would like to see it with my own eyes. So let's go on an adventure and find it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go take a look at some houses. Not exactly hiking shoes. We're going this way. Lots of real nice houses around here. Kind of get a sense of the style here. And also, yes, we are in Canada and we do have palm trees. Seems to be a little something down there. Oh, hello, dog. But maybe we'll wander down there after if we have time. Not bad for a view for the houses, eh? Now, in the case of my Minecraft house, it might look a little something like that with the cliff at the bottom. Don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet. But just walking around this neighborhood, biking around too, I mean, lots of inspiration. Lots of really beautiful gardens here too. Lots of ideas for all the foliage. And oh, monkey tree, I love that one. So now the road narrows pretty considerably. I think I'm going in the right direction. Oh, this is it. Straight ahead, not on the right, but straight ahead. Where you see that really, really overgrown fence, that is where Arthur Erickson's house was. Well, the one he designed. I'm not gonna actually go in there, but 6999. That is it. And behind there, that beautiful view, all those mountains and the water. But unfortunately, I can't go any further. So I'm gonna go back this way before there are 30 security cameras. It freaks out on me. I don't know why you need so many cameras. I feel like one would do. Oh well. Seems like I found a bit of a beach entrance. Hoping it's public, but we're about to find out. Nice spots, nice little bench. Wow. Lots of great inspiration. I do like those little pointy roofs, that little one up there. And then nice brown colors, a little bit of tan orange mixed with these large trees and a lot of foliage. Very nice. All right, time to go home, build a house. Oh, it's a lot bigger than it seems on camera. Ah, my beautiful bike. I love this thing. It's so much fun. For my fellow motorcyclists out there, this is a Himalayan 450.
Over the following few weeks, I struggled to make any progress. I try not to let my perfectionist tendencies get in the way, but oftentimes it happens against my will. A few weeks later, it was time to jump back into it. So I grabbed my sketchbook, hopped on the bike, and headed back to the mountainside to look for more inspiration and to sketch some ideas. Little did I know, I'd be in for a full day of trouble.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll have a house up here. Who knows? Might be a little while before that happens. And ladies and gentlemen, we have made it. So let's do some drawing. Alrighty, let's go find a spot to sit down, do a little drawing. It's downtown Vancouver right over there. University of British Columbia right there, but this is the same view as in Sequoia. We'll see it when we get back. Test. Microphone should be working again, but that's sort of the idea with the drawing. So I want to separate it into private and public space, have a nice outdoor space, maybe a little studio down by the river, but I really want to keep those private and public functions separate. So yeah, nice view up here. Let's hop back on the bike, do a little more exploring, head back home, and then finally, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to build in Minecraft. It's always a little embarrassing trying to waddle my way backwards. Oh, no way. It is an Enzo. Look at that. Look at that. That's so cool. Tire's flat. Motherfucker. What the f? My tire's flat. Look at that. Oh, that's not good. How's my front one doing? I thought I felt that. Yeah, front one's fine, but oh no, that's not good. Okay, that's a problem. Okay. Did I hit something? Okay, I might try to see if I can pull off here. I was wondering, it kind of felt like it was sliding out. Okay, that's a problem. Like, is it flat or is it just a little bit deflated? Is it this thing? I don't know. Oh. I think I found the issue. Ah, come on, man. You gotta be kidding me. Oh no. Thankfully, I signed up for insurance. I don't know how well the service is out here, but I don't really have much of a choice. Oh no, come on. Okay, eventually I'm gonna get home and then we're gonna build it, but bit of an inconvenience right now. Okay, bit of an update. I found a nice lady. I don't have service up here for some reason. She did. She'd let me call the insurance people. So now I have 2 hours before they get here, so. All right, well, the good news is I have 2 hours to design a house. And then, well, we'll see how the tire repair goes. But when I eventually get home, we're gonna design a Minecraft house. At least I'm surrounded by lots of inspiration. If we look that way, there's mountains, lots of beautiful houses around here. I don't wanna walk too far just in case they do show up early, but I got some time. Let me just kind of walk you through what I'm doing here. Here's the site layout. You got the cliff, you got the landscaping, you got the river on this side. Basically, okay, north is that way as well. You have those trees along this side here as well. Basically, I want the entryway to be sort of here. I don't know where I'm gonna put a garage, if I am gonna have one at all. But over here, I want it to be like a nice open public space because this, well, public. But over here you have the water, so I want it to be nice and open, and you're gonna get lots of that morning sun into the afternoon and a little bit into the evening. But over here on this private section, I want the circulation to be on this southern part here. So this part heats up, and then the private bedrooms, they're kind of facing north, so they're not gonna get as much heat. And then maybe down here, I don't know if I'm gonna step it down. I don't know what the massing is gonna look like, but essentially I wanna have a studio closer to the river. Taking a look at this drawing, this is sort of looking in towards that public space, but I definitely wanna have some sort of well, it's not an A-frame, but you know, it's a sloped roof up top here, because the climate here is very, very rainy, even though thankfully it's not supposed to rain today, fingers crossed. The rain will go down here, across here. I would like to have a nice big deck so they can come out here and enjoy your morning coffee, and nice wide overhang so that when it does rain, you can kind of walk around the side here. This is a top-down plan view, so this essentially is going to like poke out this way, and so looking at it from the top, this is that dashed line. So definitely give myself a little bit of extra space just so I can still be outside when it is raining. Now on the east side here, I'm probably thinking about having some sort of vertical slats just to help with the actual sunlight control as it gets closer into the middle of the day.
At least the weather's nice.
Let's see if my service works.
Are you okay?
I'm okay, yes, thank you. But like I was coming down the hill because I went all the way up Cypress, and then the back end was kind of sliding out a little bit, so I'm like, oh, I'll pull over.
So near Cyprus, because there's doing a lot of construction.
It must have been. I appreciate you stopping by. All right, off we go. Thank you, Daytona Motorsports. They're gonna be fixing up my bike. I don't know how much it's gonna cost me. We'll see if my insurance covers it or not, but with that being said, let's go play some Minecraft, finally. Now that that's out of the way, what are we doing? Building a Minecraft house?
Let me get turned around and then we'll jump right back into it. Much better. Now let's build a house. Finally, it was time to build the house. I started a live stream and got to work. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take wool and then I'm going to kind of size some things out. Yeah, so based on this one here, this is a plan view. This is an elevation. So this is kind of that part on the left. And then it kind of sticks out like this. So I'm basically just going to start here and do something like that. I get analysis paralysis. I'm sure you guys do too. But basically there's so many options that I could do that I end up just doing nothing. So I could make it on a diagonal. I don't know if I want to do that. With that being said, I am actually going to take these out. Just kind of cut in here a little bit. This over here is roughly going to be the public area. If I could remember how to build in Minecraft, that would be fantastic. But I'm just gonna box this out, essentially. So this is kind of like the public area. So this is like your living room. And then for the private area, I'm just gonna use like a light gray wool. So this is more like the bedrooms over here. I might actually kind of trim this a little bit, but obviously I don't want to get like too close over there. Basically on this corner, I kind of want to have like a pool. And then out here, have a little deck. It doesn't have to be like huge over there. So I'm just gonna block this out. So little driveway is gonna go down here. Not exactly sure how I'm gonna do that. I do have to be worried about drainage a little bit because the water is gonna flow down here. So maybe if I wanna drop this down a little bit and then kind of build the foliage and the greenery back up. So that way it kind of like dips down and you have like a nice little area for the water to pool. Architecture people, help me out here. There is I believe it's a mid-century modern house. It's up in the Hollywood Hills. It's like glass walls. It's super iconic. It has a beautiful view of downtown LA and like most of LA. Very thin white like roof, and then just like glass walls, and it's kind of like cantilevered a little bit. Do you guys know the name of that one? The Stall House. That's it. I'm going to start really simple. I'm going to start with the structure, and then from there, if I want to kind of expand it outwards, I can do that. But that's kind of how I make most of my buildings. Like start really, really simple, and then you kind of start to make edits. I'm going to start with the structure here. So I want to do something like that, and then if I go here, scroll the stack, 2, 3, look in that direction, confirm. There you go. Now we have a column. Also, you guys see that building in New York that's like borderline collapsing? The Pfizer building that's under renovation where like they called them beams, that buckled beams. They're not beams. Column, beam, column, beam. This is not a beam. Column, beam. Drives me nuts. Come on, people. So actually, maybe what I will do, because I did this for the airport too. Actually, let me just show you what concept I'm talking about here. Okay, real quick. Here's the airport. If we fly up, you can see it is all on the same grid and divided into subgrids here. If you look at the ceiling and where the supports are, they actually make squares. Each one of these, I believe, is 21 blocks apart, but they're in like a perfect square pattern. So that it makes it super easy to expand and contract the airport if and when you need to make modifications. So I want to apply that similar concept also to the house. So if we go back here, it's at a much smaller scale. So instead of being 21 across, this one is just going to be 9 across. And this is at a 1.5 to 1 scale. So in reality, what's that, like 6, 7? Sorry, had to do it. 9 divided by 1.5. Yeah, it's 6. That's so easy. I didn't need a calculator for that. Come on, I have an engineering degree. I should know better. So I am going to have to trim this tree slightly, but the actual trunk of the tree is like way in here. So I think that should be okay. You go all the way down here. Make sure that lines up. Okay, so there's a really, really basic structure. As I mentioned earlier, this is our site plan. North is up this way. You have those low trees, then the larger trees up here. I'm taking my tracing paper, then I have those 2 dots. I'm going to line those up right here and right here. Well, something like this. That might be a little too big. Basically, this is kind of the idea. So you have sort of an entryway over here, probably a living room over here. Then you're going to have bedrooms back here. I'm probably going to have some vehicle parking here. What that's going to look like yet, I don't know. Car right here. Going to have some circulation. That just means it's a hallway. But that kind of like separates it. So like if you have guests over, they come in here and then they can enjoy this area. And then they're probably going to have like a bathroom like kind of over here, because you know, if you have guests over, you don't want them walking all the way down there like into the private area. I do want a nice big pool. Okay, I have some other markers here. I want to talk about the circulation of this for a second. So I'm just going to walk you through my process. Keep in mind, I don't actually know what I'm doing with this, but this is just me kind of, you know, guessing. So you have vehicles coming in this way, some sort of entry. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I don't know if I'm going to make it diagonal. I don't know what this is going to look like, but going to have an entryway here. Kitchen, dining room somewhere in there maybe. I could have a little seating area over here as well, maybe depending on the size, because you know, in game it does feel quite small. You're going to have people going in here, a little bit of circulation over here. I may end up cutting this section off on the end because technically you don't really need it. So I could actually cut it there. Otherwise, this is more just like wasted space. And then in the living room, so you have people kind of going around here-ish. Probably going to have some doors going out here. And then obviously lots of circulation around this pool. I know it's looking a little messy, but just bear with me. I am going to have to figure out where I want to put like walls and things. So if I want to separate the kitchen and the living room, if I want to do like a half wall, I might put it like right here. So then this line would get like shifted over. But this is kind of the basic idea of what the circulation sort of looks like. Okay, let's grind this house out. And yes, my houses do normally look like garbage for a while, and then eventually maybe they'll look okay. Fill hand, radius of 30, depth of 1. And okay, so let's, I wanted, what do you call it? I wanted the sloped roof, but this house that I'm taking inspiration from does not have a sloped roof. Guys, I don't know how to build in Minecraft. There's gonna be a lot of iterating with this, just by the way. Let me take this one out. So now it's kind of in 2 separate areas. So 1 and 2. This one. And stack you all the way down. There you go. So there's a nice simple structure. Okay, this works. Okay, I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but it works. Now I need to find a car. Nice little car. Looks pretty good. I'm probably going to change this flooring later, but I do actually want to bring this out just a little bit. I don't know if I want to like cantilever it out. I don't know yet. Yeah, we can do a little cantilever, I think. Coming out here, like this is pretty nice. Like that's a sweet view. That's a very nice view. And especially once we get all these trees and stuff going, and then we populate everything on the other side there too, then it's gonna look pretty nice. Let's take this, kind of like that, and maybe I'll pull this like I want a nice big outdoor space. So you get lots of sunlight here. So this is facing south, so you're gonna get a lot of morning sunlight, and in the evening it's gonna be kind of over here. So it'll be a little bit blocked right here. But over here with this pool, it's going to be quite nice. So one question I have to ask myself is, do I want this area and that area to be separate? Or do I want to expand this out and just kind of like let you walk over? I don't know. It would be kind of nice to have an outdoor space over here that's disconnected from this. So that way, if you're in like the studio or a bedroom or something over here, you can walk over here and it's sort of like more of a private area, like kind of tucked in the corner. So probably a little pool. Again, I'm just going to make this super rectangular for now. Nice big pool. And I kind of want it tucked in this corner. So that it gets lots of sunlight. Hello, Meta. What you might notice is this is the site. This is my house site. I managed to import a schematic of West Vancouver. Yeah, it looks a little something like that. I can see all the different shadows depending on the time of year. And I've selected down here where Metro Vancouver actually is. And then you get like the time of day. So you see all those shadows moving. And then depending on the month, obviously the length of the day changes. Might do a little something like this. And I may, depending on what I put here, I may end up doing something like that instead, so that you kind of like look straight out. Which actually, looking down this hallway, assuming there's nothing blocking it, that would actually be kind of cool. The experience of walking in, so you walk in, if you go to the right, like straight and to the right, that's more like the public space. And then if off to the left, that's more like the private space. Let's assume there's gonna be a wall right here, so you can't actually see over here. So you're gonna walk in, your eyes are gonna be drawn straight ahead and then kind of to the right. So if you're a guest, I'm thinking from the perspective of a guest, that's where you're sort of subtly guided, right? And then over here, maybe you have like the kitchen and stuff like that. If you live here, you're kind of coming up here, and then you kind of have to like look over this way. So it's less intuitive to turn down this way. So guests won't necessarily, be drawn that way, like visually. And then, so this can be a closet and then also like for laundry. So usually when I design washrooms or bathrooms in Minecraft, when I open the door, I put it here. I never put it on the end or on the end over there. So that this way you can have like a sink and like a vanity. And then you can have like the shower and like the kind of the toilet down there. Because basically if you do this instead, then all of a sudden your layout gets really weird. You could still probably do it, but then it just feels more compact. When I'm designing a Minecraft kitchen, one of two options. I either make the depth of the counters 1 block or 2. I don't know what I'm going to choose here, but for now I'm just going to block it off with 2. We're going to have some sort of windows here, like you have these nice trees here. And then you probably want something like this here as well, just so you can kind of like, if you're washing dishes or you're cooking or something, you can kind of like see out your driveway. Bedroom number 1, and then this will be the closet, which is kind of why I do this pattern. It goes across and then that way. Thankfully, it's identical in size. Great. And then this will be the master bedroom over this way. Do I want an ensuite? It's not a whole lot of space. I could do kind of like a walk-in closet ensuite mix. Well, I mean, that's lots of progress. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go on my own and then I'm just going to try to figure some stuff out.
The next day, after the structure was in place, it was time to create a layout for the interior, window placement, and location of walls, all while considering the circulation, daylight, heating, cooling, ventilation, and a whole lot more, as we will discover.
It is now the next day. Yeah, I mean, we made lots of progress on this house, but I gotta move this. Sorry, fellas. It's kind of ruining the immersion. We'll use it somewhere else. Okay. I figured, what, we'll keep the little campfire. That's kind of nice. But there you go. So now I get my city view back, and looks a little something like that. So let's get back to working on this house. Delicious. I also just discovered a lot here. It's lagging pretty hard. Guys, I gotta remove some of these sides. What is going on here? Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get back to the house. So on my other monitor here, I have a picture of the stall house, as we were talking about in the little stream yesterday. For you, it's not a stream. For you, it's a video. But for me, it was a live stream that's cut into this video. But we were looking at the stall house, which is in Los Angeles. And I'm taking a look at this picture here, which I can't show you because of copyright. But it does have a nice fireplace like in the middle of this living room. And I'm not recreating the house or anything, but I am taking some pretty big inspiration from it. So with this fireplace going up here and then all that heat going into that
structural beam, which it's not really something you want to do. Maybe I'll consider kind of moving it out to the middle here. And then in the real life house, it looks like they have the kitchen kind of going back this way, which is also not a bad idea, but that also means I got to get rid of that. So let me do some experimenting. Something I might want to do over here is either have like a big TV or like a projector that kind of goes on that wall, because this is a west-facing wall, and you're going to use a projector very likely in the evening. So even if it's the summer and the sun is still up, it's going to be like way over here. So if this was flipped and you had this one as a solid wall and you're trying to project there, you're going to have all this sunlight coming in and you're going to have glare and you're not actually going to be able to see it. So if I have it on this one, which I'm just going to fill like that for now, then it should theoretically work. But that also means I have to orient the furniture to kind of like focus in on this particular wall, at least if you're watching a game. You can also move the furniture, but for a big couch, I do need to be careful of that. Just for now, I'm going to remove that because I got to think about this. I don't actually know what I'm doing, by the way, if you couldn't tell. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. What if I did, you guys know those like conversation pits? What if I did something like that? If only I had cushions. This would be a lot easier. I'm going to put, I don't know what I'm going to do for the glass, if I'm going to have glass at all. I got a lot to think about, but just for the sake of being in this conversation pit and being able to see out and see your surroundings, I think I'm just going to take this wool out for now. I may end up changing it once we do get those wool stairs, because those do actually look quite nice. But maybe I should figure out the orientation of this too. So something I need to consider is the flow of people this way, like if I have guests over, assuming this is my house. People come in this way through that front door, and then they'll immediately see all the way out. I don't really want to block this. There's going to be windows here. You can open it. You can kind of flow in and out. And then if you want to come over here, and maybe this is a little more private, kind of over this way, even though you can see everything over here. But compared to if you're having a big pool party, you want to kind of get away from some people, maybe you come over here. And just for now, it's probably going to change, but throw something there too. Again, this is all going to change. I know it looks like I've never built a day in my life. At least for this particular component, but we're gonna make it better. Maybe over here I want to have a little separation, and then this can be like a little bookshelf or something. You know, if you're kind of sitting down here, it kind of separates you from this other pool area over here. Again, if you have a lot of guests over here, you're having a nice big pool party because you own this pretty sweet house on this pretty sweet lot. And you know, if you want to come back here and get away from some people, which my fellow introverts, what's going on, then yeah, you can come back here and check it out. Now for the actual windows themselves, I'm gonna stick this green wool down here, because usually what I like to do, especially for like sliding doors or sliding windows, I'll put stairs or something so it kind of looks like it has a little lip. So if, for example, I'm not going to use this material, but if I did want to do that, then I could basically just have glass like this, and it just kind of looks like it's on a sliding little edge there. So yeah, it works. For the kitchen, I'm going to start off by actually blocking these walls off, and then I'm going to figure out the windows afterwards. There we go. The sun came out a little bit, still kind of hiding, but now we have some nice shadows. So where's my camera? There you are. There's some nice shadows. So we can actually see how the sun interacts with the building. Now I can do something like this, maybe. What this is actually going to look like when it's finished, I don't quite know. I don't know what the styling is going to be, but probably something relatively modern. Then maybe what I could do, is I can take that out, and if I want to have like glass or something there, then you know, it kind of lets it flow through a little bit, which I think would be pretty cool. You guys seeing that? Maybe I'm gonna put that back. Maybe it's just me and my imagination, but maybe it's just the color too. I don't know. Let me start with the kitchen first, and then I'll kind of work backwards. So maybe a little something like that. Don't want to bring it too close to the door because I need like some room for the actual like entry space itself, and you need to be able to put your keys down and your groceries or whatever. Although if the kitchen's right there, then maybe I could actually extend this out and put a little cupboard here. That could work, because if you're bringing your groceries in, your kitchen's right there, then you can just set it on your counter. But definitely needs some sort of closet. Then maybe it's like one of those like galleyway kitchen. Is that what you call it? Galley kitchens? Galleyway? I don't know what I'm talking about. But basically it's like a, you know, on both sides. I used to have a very, very small one in my first apartment when I moved to Vancouver. Maybe here you have like bar stools or something. And then a little table. I mean, that's still a pretty decent sized kitchen. Like, it doesn't have to be giant or anything. Something that I could also do, because when you come in here, it does feel very, very open. These walls are going to go all the way up. So your eye is going to be drawn pretty much straight out there and then a little bit that way. But then you're also going to be able to see all of this. This is probably going to feel like a lot. So maybe what I might do is if I extend this here, I've seen some houses do something like this where you have sort of like a wall. Maybe it's like a wine rack or like a bookshelf or something, even though it's in the kitchen. Maybe I'll do something else. I don't really know what I'm doing, but, and it also kind of lines up with that right there. Okay, I think that's all right. Maybe what I'll do now is design some windows. And by design, I just mean cut it right out of the wall. I could open it up. This is quite large, especially for west facing, although it is quite shaded, so it should be okay. In the winter, you would get a lot of sunlight coming in here because it is quite low. Something to consider. Also, when you're working in the kitchen, it's kind of nice being able to see out there and seeing that cool city view. See how cool that is? That's very nice. But then when you're in this kitchen, and if you have guests over in the pool, you can't really see them. Here, how about this? I'm gonna bring these walls up, and then we'll decide. Now, we're going to use our imagination and pretend this actually does go all the way up. I may actually end up just stacking it into that, but I don't want to do it just yet because I'm not 100% sure on the layout. So if I just completely take this out, you're standing in the kitchen. There you go. You can kind of see over there. I think that works. I think that's all right. Maybe, yeah, because I don't want to like clutter it vertically, especially in this area. Right now, it's kind of flat just because I mean I don't know exactly what's going to go over there. I need to figure out the layout of the kitchen too and what appliances go where. I do like this here because it creates some separation, and this kind of feels like a little hideaway. Obviously right now it's stone and it's not super appealing. These materials aren't great. I'm going to do some experimenting with these windows here too. I don't know exactly what I want to do, but we'll figure it out. I have an idea of how to do this. What if... Yeah, so kind of the point of this is to give me a little more space here. So I do kind of want a dining table. Where do I put a dining table? What if I just take this thing and then move it one block, and then I take that roof and fix it up? So now I do have more space. And then now if I do something like that, depending on what appliances here, I might change it. But now you have 3 bar stools, and now you have a little table there. It's going to be a little bit of a tight fit if you want to pull out that chair. But let's just pretend that if you want to get to that one, you walk around this side. And then maybe I could have some like fancy window like that. It's an option. Could even make that into a big window. It's kind of cool. It's not bad. Maybe I open that up. I don't know. I don't know what the proportions are going to be, but I mean, that's not bad. It's kind of cool. Okay, layout wise, I think it's actually okay. The big thing that I need to consider is this is a circulation space, like going all the way up here, which what I could do, I might add like a little table and chair. It's kind of like right here, just to sort of break up the space a little bit, because I don't want it, like you're in a house, you don't want everything to just be a hallway. So I want to use it as more like multi-purpose, if that makes any sense. I'm also going to have to do some calculations on the depth of this overhang and how that shadow interacts with there. But that'll be later. Now, coming over this way to the master bedroom, something I really need to take into consideration. If I'm having a big pool party and then I just want to go to bed and I still have people over, I don't want a big window of them like looking into the bedroom. So I need to figure out something for that. I could have a window and then just have like some sort of blinds or like some shutters or shades or something that you can shut. But that's a big consideration. Something I've also been considering is adding a nice big tree, like either right here, or if I want to like carve something out of the house, because I see, you know, sometimes architects will do that, but it's an option. So if I go to our warp trees, my good friend Rainy, he's been working very hard on a lot of trees, and Rainy, if you're in the comments, feel free to let the people know. But Rainy sells these trees, I believe, on Patreon, but we use them. They're nice. I like them. Let's see if we can find one that we like. Oh, what's up, dude? How's it going? Are you trapped? You are trapped. Oh no, you poor thing. Is this just villager for scale? Is that what that's for? Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm looking for. I do have to be careful of the roots. That's the big thing, especially near a pool. Let's go like right here. And then I can move the pool too. I may actually shift the pool kind of into this corner. There you go. That's kind of fun. You know, it kind of gives it some character too, right? I do like it. It's nice. I guess maybe when this house was built, however many years ago, even though it's being built right now, but don't worry about it. But however many years ago this house was built, this tree is probably a little bit smaller. But the roots, I'm assuming, have not gone out this way, but more have just kind of like gone down. There's no basement in this house, so that's okay. But as long as it's far enough away from the foundation, and this is sort of just like a deck, I guess, or a patio, I don't really know yet, and away from the pool, it should be okay. Don't know what the distance is supposed to be, but let's pretend it works. Landscape architects, help me out. Anybody in the comments that can help me with these distances. I don't know what kind of tree this is, but help me out. Okay, so let's work on the kitchen here. I'm going to do the same thing that I did out here with these signs, except now I'm going to essentially lay out what spaces I want in the kitchen for the appliances and like the surface area. So I need an oven / stovetop, refrigerator. I need a sink, and what else? What else do I need? Oh, wait, I have an idea. Let's do this instead. I'll just go back to my kitchen, and we'll figure it out. So I got a fridge, I've got some counter space, got a coffee machine, toaster, oven, stovetop. I got lots of cupboards too. Cupboards, that's a big one. And then I also need like the ventilation hood on top of the actual oven itself. So convenient when you have a kitchen right in the background. So I'm going full Minecraft noob here, but for the oven and stovetop, for now I'm going to use a furnace. I may keep it that way too. I don't know. Because a lot of this map will be used for like an adventure map or like survival games. And, you know, having these furnaces and crafting tables and stuff to interact with, and maybe it'll help you out. I'm thinking for the placements, I might go, hold on. I got to put the fridge too. Maybe I'll start with the fridge. But with the stovetop, if you're cooking with oil, it's gonna, you know, depending on what you're cooking, it might splatter everywhere. And if you have guests that are sitting right here, you probably don't want it right there, you know? So maybe I'll put it over here. That could work. And then we'll need a ventilation hood above it. I don't know exactly what that's gonna look like, but we'll do that for now. Maybe for the cupboards, we could do something like that. And keep in mind that I'm building at a slightly larger scale than normal. I'm building at a 1.5 to 1, even though this is still pretty tall. That's fine. So cupboards up here, and then this 2x3, that'll be the fridge. And then I know some of you guys make fun of me for building like this, but I'm going to use a cauldron for the sink. Just a classic. But so when you're, think about it this way, when you're doing dishes, what view do you want? And also I like personally having counter space on the left and the right of my sink, so that like dirty dishes here in the sink, clean them, and then dry them on the right. So that's kind of what I want to do here. But I also want to keep a pretty considerable space for like cutting up vegetables and like prep surfaces. That works. Like a nice big double sink. It's going to be a little annoying having the fridge there. I might actually flip this whole thing around, because if you're doing prep over here and then you're running back to the fridge, you're constantly going back between these two. Versus if you have the fridge here, then you can grab things out of it, go right here, and then you're already there. So it's going to prevent a lot of walking. So we have the oven and stovetop, the fridge, the sink, and the cupboards. I think that's everything. And we'll figure out some maybe tile or something to put down here. And even walking outside here, somebody had also mentioned having like a cover for this driveway and for the car here, which is probably a good idea. So I may end up doing that too. That looks not bad. It's kind of getting the shape here. I like the location of this table. This doesn't look too bad. Don't know what I'm going to do for the glass yet. I don't really know how I feel about this going all the way down. Seems like a little bit of a waste of space. You know what? It's fine. It works. Here we have the closet and laundry. So I'll do something like that. Then maybe like you want a stacked washer and dryer, just like that. And then going up here, you can have like all your shelving units. But I do probably want to keep a little surface here so that like if you're doing laundry, or you honestly you want to fold your laundry, take it out of the dryer and then just throw it here and then fold it. I notice a lot of houses have a lack of surfaces. My apartment included. I've been kind of lazy and putting off buying all the furniture I need, even though it looks furnished back here. But over this way, it's just camping equipment and bikes. So this is bedroom number 1. This is the smaller one. I am gonna bring that up there, obviously. Put a little bed here, nothing too crazy. And then maybe could have a little closet here, probably. Just kind of stick something in there. It's nice and cozy. It's more of like a guest bedroom. Have a little table maybe on either sides. And then if I want like a little desk or something, I could put something up there, like I don't know. I'll leave that for now. So that works. So taking a look at this master bedroom, I think what I am going to do, first of all, let me get rid of this just to start. But I've kind of blocked off this wall, and I'm probably going to use some trapdoor magic. So just for now, I'm going to keep this as 2. I want to have this to be used as a bathroom, sort of on this side, just a half bath, and then maybe a little closet right there. But then you run into the problem, once again, of having a hallway, which I wouldn't mind having the hallway up to here, which I guess is why I put that there. What if I have this one as the ensuite, and then this is the walk-in closet over here? And I'll put some sliding door or something right there, and then maybe I can have like a little window there. And then for the bed, I could probably have it like somewhere here. So this bed's going to be a little bit larger, and by a little bit I mean a lot. So this one over here is 2 by 3. This one is more like a California king, sort of. I don't know what dimensions that is, but it's bigger, so we'll do that. And then I don't want people coming up right here and be like, hello, what are you doing? So I'll do something like that, and then maybe you just have this like nice thin one there. So then on this side you have 2, and I may actually push this back and again use that trapdoor magic to have some thin walls right here. But now I have 2 on this side and 2 on this side, which also means that I can have something like that. Okay, very nice. And we'll have some carpet that probably goes out there. And then, yeah, nice big window, so you get a beautiful view just like that. But, you know, if I kind of compare it to this original map, we have this once again. You can see that, yeah, we did actually follow it pretty well the same, except the circulation is more on this side for like this entryway and living room. But this circulation over here, that does work. And then, of course, we just cut it off because you don't want this one on the end. Then you have the circulation around the pool, bedrooms and bathrooms back here. So, yeah, I mean, so far, so good. For this wall over here, I only had this one because I thought the hallway may have gone all the way down to the end. But now that I know it's not, I'm actually just going to extend this down here just for now, and then let's figure out what the actual walls are going to look like. So over here you do have kind of this like private space. I don't actually, let's actually take this out, and then maybe what I want to do is like have a little step down, and then over here it's sort of like a little secret patio, and I'll put a bunch of bushes here. Just clean this up a little bit too. Sorry, Beppis, I gotta destroy your landscaping temporarily. Yeah, so far so good. For the actual eaves here, I am gonna stack this out by 1 on each side. Maybe even these ones here too. I know it's gonna go into the leaves a little bit. I don't know if it actually destroyed any, but yeah, we could do a little something like this. Just because, you know, it does rain quite a bit, and if you can have a little bit of an overhang just to keep some of the water away from your walls and your windows, that it just helps a little bit. There you go. I think that looks a little more proportional here as well with those eaves coming out. Or the overhangs. They're not eaves. Maybe they are. I don't know. What do I know? I know some things, but most things I don't know. And also from my undergrad in architectural engineering, it was about 3.5 years ago that I graduated, so I should probably refresh myself. Now, a little pit stop up to Dean's house. I want to tour this in an upcoming video, but he's letting me steal some of these bushes. Oh, there we go. Haha, very nice. Thank you, Dean. I do actually want to use the same concept, like looking down there with that sight line. I think I'm probably going to do something else here as well, so that if you're coming in this way, you also have a nice view of, well, right now, nothing, but I'm going to have some landscaping. Okay, my frames are acting weird. What's going on? Seems to be fine now, but anyway, I added some stuff along the outside here just to sort of extend that structural grid right here and then right there. And then I just have these joists that, I don't know, I thought they looked kind of cool on the outside. Now, right now, these joists are going this way. I could make them go that way, which actually is not a bad idea, and I think would actually work because these ones are at a different level and then it drops down by 1 block. So I could do that and then kind of have them sticking out this way, which I think would be kind of nice. I'm getting really distracted from the thing I was working on over there, but everything has to get done at some point. What if... That's kind of nice. So it kind of draws your eyes like this way and go like that. I don't know if it was the signs that was dropping my frames. It seems to be okay. The only issue is that if you fly back far enough, it will disappear, which is really unfortunate. Wait, there. So when you're way back here, it doesn't look as great. But if you're up here, you're probably not going to notice. Somebody mentioned on the live stream yesterday that you can also get like a mod to make it not despawn. But a big goal with the city of Sequoia is that I want you to be able to join without any mods and still enjoy it to the fullest extent. So probably not. So I think just for consistency, I'm going to have that there. Because if you're laying in bed, like the pillow is going to be here. And when you like lean over like that and look that way in the middle of the night, you probably don't want a window right there because you want to feel sort of protected around like the back side of your head. At least me personally. I don't know. This is all from my experience, but yeah, we could do something like that. And then that's okay there, but I don't want like giant windows maybe, unless I have like a fence or something. I don't know. I'm just kind of concerned about like somebody wanders down here in the middle of the night and it's like looking in your window. You'd be like, you know, you don't want to scare yourself. Let's just have like a little something here. I could have like a nice sliding door. Come out here. It's like a deck, right? And then you'll have a little banister along here. Sit out here, have your morning coffee. I think that'd be pretty nice. And then what I could do is have some steps down here, or maybe I could use this and have like a step down. And then you have like a garden back here. Now, something I need to consider. This bedroom and this window, this is east facing. We're in the northern hemisphere, we're assuming. So in the morning, if I set the time to 6 a.m., the sun's right there. And if you are in bed and you want to get up at 8 a.m., you have a lot of sunlight in your eyes. So maybe what I could do is, well, we have a couple options. So I could bring this down a little bit, or I can maybe add like slats, like vertical slats on the side, or you could just use curtains, to be honest with you. Curtains might be the move. 8 a.m. looks like this. There you go. So shadows go all the way up to there. But if you go 7 a.m., looks a little something like that. So yeah, you're definitely going to get a lot of sunlight in the eyes. So probably curtains, I'd say. If you want blackout curtains, that's a good way to do that too. I'm going to steal a couple of these. So thank you, Dean. Appreciate it. So I kind of want to use this as an opportunity to separate this area, if you're having a big pool party, to this area. So I don't really want people to be able to see back this way. I want the view to be focused way over here on that skyline. I can always move these later, but a little something there. And then I'll grab another one and then I'll put another one pretty much right where that is. Yeah, okay. That looks pretty good. Kind of creates some separation, which is good. And then maybe I'll put a little something in there as well. But that works. Take a look at this wall. So we'll apply the same concepts as this one back here. So for this one and one more, I'm just going to make this a solid wall. And then since this is more facing the roadway, I don't want it to be like huge. So maybe... I want to keep that up by 2. Let's keep that up by 2. I could do something like this. I'll think about it. We'll come back to that. But honestly, I think that was mostly the last part of the wall that I really needed to worry about. I obviously have to figure out the exact configuration and design of the glass itself, how that's going to look like, and what the doors are going to look like as well. But yeah, maybe let's focus over here and try to make this roof a little bit prettier. And also maybe figure out something for this car. A little overhead something. I've set the time to 4 p.m. This is about, well, you probably get home closer to 5 or 6. But you come in this way, and then this is the front entrance of your house. So the big question is, what do we actually want it to look like? Now, if you are in the kitchen or you're in the living room, there is a good chance, especially if you have people coming over, that you kind of want to see like outside in your driveway. So maybe what I will do is, well, I do have to be careful of adding windows right here, especially because it's right beside the stove and the oven top. Like, just so you can kind of see out that way. But we could do something like this, I think. So then from the outside, looks a little something like that. Yeah, I'm not super concerned what the house looks like from this angle. Obviously, I care a little bit because you do want a little bit of curb appeal. But honestly, like, when you saw me driving around West Vancouver, like, a lot of them, they're more concerned about the privacy of their house because there's a lot of people with a lot of money that live there. So I don't know if they want their house to be super iconic from the road itself. Either way, I'm going to take this same design pattern, probably extend the roof out a little bit that way. So we'll do something like that. So if I take you and I'm going to clone it right here. No, what happened to my signs? Where'd they go? Let's try this again. Signs. Okay, come on, server or computer or both. Just want to place some signs. That's all I want. Okay, we're back. My frames have dropped a little bit, but the signs are there for some reason. Okay, as long as it works. Also, I can get rid of that, that one, that one, that one, and that one. So, okay. So since this tree is there, I can't extend this one out that way. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to. But I can, however, take this one out and then bring this segment kind of out this way. Now I think I'm actually going to do this. So have a solid beam that goes all the way across. And then out here, I can actually bring this out a little bit and then kind of do the same thing here. Although I did actually end up putting that one there. So, nope, just kidding. What I can do instead is take this, move that one up, and then I can do something like that. And basically just have like 2 different levels. Then I can take this one and pull it out this way maybe. Is that going to any leaves? No, that's okay. And this one up top, I can pull it a little bit, but not as much as this one. I also don't know what I want to do, if I want to have a structural support on that side or have some sort of cantilever, but I'm going to figure it out. A cantilever, by the way, is something that is just supported on one side, like over here, and then it comes out across, and then it's not supported on the other side. That's a cantilever. So now going inside to outside, it looks a little something like that. I could add some other extra structure to hold this up, but let me do this first. Let me do the top part. These joists go that way. These ones go this way. There you go. It doesn't look too bad. And I may actually just shift this whole car that way a little bit. So now it's actually underneath it. So yeah, that works. And I can probably shorten this a little bit actually. So let me play with the proportions. How's that look? That's okay. Yeah, I might push the car back by 1. And then I'll just extend that. I'm probably gonna do a little landscaping along the side here, but just for now, I'll just make it stone. I'm also probably gonna want a fence along here. If everybody else is doing a fence, what are you guys doing? Oh yeah, you got a fence. You have a nice big hedge, and then you're right up against that. Is this a house or is this more like a community center? Either way, there's no interior, so I don't know. And then this is Dean's house with all those large bushes. So Dean's got a lot more space. So what he's done is just added a lot of stuff. No, he does have a fence. Look at that. Yeah, he's got a little one there. And then another one up here. Okay, so yes, I think I am going to go with a fence. Don't know what it's going to look like, but I'll add one. I think this is also part of my property because this house down here has this hedge. And it kind of goes up this way. So I think it is mine right here. I could do a little something over here too at some point. Ah, look at that view. That's such a great view. But yeah, I could do something up here as well. Maybe a little fire pit or something, as long as I'm not too close to the trees. I'd have to clear out a little space, but just for now, I think I'm gonna take this opportunity to mark out a very rough fence. I don't want to put it right up against the road. I'd rather have a little bit of greenery just to kind of, hide it a little bit. And I can bring it pretty well close to here. It's going to be a bridge here at some point, but cool. So that's nice and clean. Taking a look outside, I probably want a barbecue and then maybe a little table or something over here. But that also comes with potentially some storage. So I might want a shed, but I don't want it to be like a huge shed that, obstructs this area. So what I could do is maybe have a little something kind of over on this corner or like maybe in here. I'm not quite sure yet. But I do have to be quite careful with the placement, but I'm just going to leave that as a marker for now. Down here, I also want a little staircase going down for beach access. A couple options. I could put a staircase kind of zigzagging down this way, which would be a little complicated, or I could use this section to my advantage and kind of have it coming down this way, which is an option. But I guess it's more of a question of if I have a bunch of people over, do I want them to have easy access down to the beach, or do I want to kind of keep it for myself? Or you could do both, to be honest with you. I could maybe even bring it down here, maybe? No, the pool's there. I don't want to make them walk all the way around the pool. Could bring them over here and down this side. That's an option. I might have to do more thinking about that. We'll come back to that. Coming back out front for a second, I made a couple adjustments. I feel like this is more structurally realistic. And I did end up taking this part all the way back and basically just opening this up here. Otherwise, it feels like it's kind of off balance. Like I don't want like a full one on this side and then nothing on the other side. So I took that and then kind of cut it out a little bit. It feels quite high, to be honest with you. I don't really know how I feel about that. I also, like if I bring this down by 1, I don't really want to obstruct this window too much because it looks pretty nice right now and it flows all the way out there. Like there's continuity. There's continuity going all the way across with that structural
components, but I'll leave it for now. I think it's okay. So I have a soccer game that I'm going to go watch here very shortly with some friends. So before I do that, and before I continue working on this house, let's see what we have so far. So you walk up to the house. You got this nice parking area here. If I want to have a bike, I can probably put it right there. It might get a little wet, but I'm sure I can configure it somehow. And then up here, you have the front entrance, little patio, not a patio, porch. Then you walk in here, and you're immediately drawn to this cool view way out the front. And then you have some nice leaves here, which is great. You're gonna have a full bathroom here, and a nice kitchen. And then as you walk this way, you start to notice, oh, there's a really cool skyline out there. There's going to be a lot more trees and stuff, so it's going to be a lot more green once I'm finished with all this. But yeah, it kind of draws your eyes around the corner, and then you also have this part over here. So if you're a guest, kind of naturally draws you to that point. Right here, dining table. You have your kitchen, and then this nice big spot right here with that open window. Looking back this way, you have a hallway. This is going to be glass where this green is. Washer, dryer. In here, bedroom number 1. Go in here. Now you're in the master bedroom. This is going to be an ensuite and a walk-in closet. I don't know which one is going to be which. Also, the walk-in closet might be kind of small, but I'll figure it out. And then back here, you have the bed. Nice little open window like this. And then nice east-facing window just like this. This will be a little door coming out here. You can come down here, have your morning coffee. Don't know what I'm going to put here just yet, but it does go down towards the river, which is not yet in place. And then, yeah, looks a little something like this so far. So I'm going to go watch some soccer, going to have a good time, and then I'll be back. I wasn't sold on the sleek design of the house. The white modern look is cool, but I wasn't sure how I felt about it fitting into the landscape. Either way, I got started and would later put my pen, paper, and Legos to good use. Hello, welcome back to day something. I don't know what day number this is working on this house, but whoa, that's way too fast. Oh, you can't even see my screen. There we go. Okay. I need to get this house done. All right, let's do it. Let's make some progress. Do you guys ever have this problem that when you're building in Minecraft, you're just so indecisive about what you actually want to do? Like, I have this huge map with so much space for so many projects, yet I'm still stuck on the tiniest of little details. Is that just me? Now, something I have been thinking about, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but I really like using dark wood for my houses. And, you know, right now it is this, like, nice white color. It's nice and modern, but part of me kind of wants to do, like, sort of a spruce or, like, dark oak or something. I don't know, though. I would also have to change these columns here as well, but I'm so indecisive. I think what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to take this big tree out of the middle here, and then maybe I'll put one back. But for now, I want to figure out this outside part. Just do a little something like that. You know what? I'm going to go full 2012. That's right. Boom. Check that out. I have some chairs. Maybe we'll make a little pool here too. I don't know what I want to do for this. It's obviously not going to stay stone, but maybe what I could do is figure out some potential material and color palettes for the entire house and this outside part here too, because, I mean, I do like those signs. That is quite nice, but obviously if you back up, they do disappear, which is a little bit annoying, but yeah, I don't know. I'm going to lay out some materials and just keep working on this. I think for the pool, I would like a shallow end and then a bit of a deep end over here. And maybe this will be kind of the middle, and then this one will be deep over here. Man, if I'm this indecisive in creative, how do people build in survival? Because I've tried to play survival before. I actually have, I think, 6 episodes on this YouTube channel, but I made like 1 Firewatch tower, and that was pretty much it. Down here, I'll put some frog lights. I know I don't have to put anything in this corner, but I don't know. I like always filling in those corners. Is that just me? Or does everybody think like that? I don't know. Okay, that works. It's not bad. I probably want some lights over here, though, too. I need to make a ladder. Can ladders be waterlogged? Is that a thing?
I don't know. Let's find out. I guess I don't really need a ladder on this side, but maybe I'll put one like right here. And then if I take that and clone it upwards, a little something like that maybe. I honestly just think I'm going to keep it super simple for now, especially with my oak chairs. And then once I figure out the material palette, then we'll come back and revisit that. Oh, those lights are all in different directions. How did that happen? I did not even know you could do that. And you go right there. Okay, that's a little bit better. Let's do some world edit. Oh, hello. Okay, so how do I... These shaders are crazy though with water. I love them so much. I think it's bliss shaders. But you see that? I'm drying off as I come out of the pool. That's so fun. Oh, I got it with the cycler tool. Wait, come here. And right click. Ah, okay. Problem solved. Okay, it's not a bad looking pool. I don't like the stone, but you know, we'll fix that. I also need to figure out what I actually want to do inside for the lighting, and if I want to like have a different shaped roof. I also have all that like fancy modeling stuff that I kind of want to do, but I don't know how to do, and I should probably figure out how to actually use it. Who knew building a Minecraft house was this complicated? Or maybe this guy just makes it complicated. I have an idea that I think is going to help. And what if that idea looks a little something like this? Now, I've never been great at drawing or sketching. I've enjoyed it, but you know, I kind of get discouraged when I see people who are like really, really good and then I try to do something and then it doesn't turn out at all. I've heard that when you're stuck, if you try to draw, sometimes it helps. So, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a shot here, see how it goes. So as I continue to sketch, you can see that one of the ideas I have is instead of having these flat roofs, I'm thinking about actually bringing it up into sort of a V shape like this. So this is south facing. So maybe I'll have a clear story window up top, or maybe I'll just expand it all the way up. I don't know if I want to have one roof line here and then another one here, but either way, I kind of want to add a little bit of character like that, bring it a little more light, and then same thing with this part here. So that drawing is looking at the house from this view. And if we take a look at our 3D model, zooming back into our site, again, it would be looking at it from this direction. Now, if I can figure out how to do a solar analysis on this, then I will. But what I also might do is I could build the model in Minecraft and then just not include any windows because I think it'll consider it an actual full block. But I can build it in Minecraft and then potentially do a solar analysis on the Minecraft build itself rather than having to actually design it in the 3D modeling software. Either way, I'm going to keep sketching. Here's a little Lego model. So taking a look at this picture, this house looking down from the top, but then this angle would be approximately the same. So you can kind of see with these two pieces, I brought it up a little bit just to represent that roof kind of going up just slightly. And yeah, a little bedroom on the end here. And then also for the car, a little something sticking out like here. So from the top, it would look approximately like this, I think. Now, something else to consider, if we do have this roof splitting and make this V shape, it rains a lot in Sequoia and, you know, in Vancouver. So a lot of the water is going to get pulled down into here. And then the question is, where does it go? So I've kind of modeled that out here and you can kind of see that where it goes right in here. So I think I'm going to find a way to push it back down that way. Now, in this particular case, this roof is going to be up slightly right here, which is this section. So you can kind of see I brought it up just ever so slightly, and then it'll kind of tilt back down this way. It's kind of hard to represent with small Legos, but you get the picture. I also need to make sure to include a little chimney here, which will go right through the middle of the roof. I don't know if I want to push it back up against the wall again, but I think some bricks would be nice, to be honest with you. Don't know what the top will look like yet, but I don't know. I'll just do a little something like that. Now, if I end up changing the materials of the house from that white that we were working with more to like dark woods and then maybe some red bricks up here for the chimney, then maybe I could actually use that red brick somewhere over here as well, because I do like red brick. Now, something I've been thinking about for the materials itself, I live on the west coast of Canada in British Columbia, and right now the forest fire season isn't too bad. Hopefully it stays that way. But over in Ontario right now they're getting a lot of fires. And something to consider is if you're building a house that's adjacent to the woods, well, you got to think about those materials. What happens if a forest fire does come through? Do you design the house so that it should be able to resist it? Do the clients have enough money for that? There's a lot of questions surrounding that. I don't know how I want to approach this, because on one side, I would like to use potentially some natural materials like wood, but of course that is flammable. You can treat it to a certain extent so that the fire rating does go up, but if you're surrounded by trees like this house is in a forest fire, that's going to be a little tough. And you also have the radiant heat from the actual fire itself. The flames don't actually have to touch it. I mean, you guys know that. You guys make marshmallows by a campfire. You don't have to put the marshmallow in the campfire to get it to cook. All this to say, I don't know if that's a direction I want to pursue with the materials. But let me first start by drawing this line that I forgot. Here's a little trick that you learn in engineering. If you want to make a different view of this house, take a ruler, go up to this line, and draw it straight down. And like this, you're going to try to make sure that it is also lined up. Same idea. Bring this down. Hopefully those are parallel. Yeah, that looks all right. Go over to this one right here. Just going to try to make this and this parallel. Now you guys are looking at it head on, but I'm looking at it from an angle. Basically go down like that. Bring this over here and bring that down. And now what we can do is make the top view. So I'm actually just going to trace it out, not with a pen, but with a pencil. So go like this. Now in game it does look a little bit different, and this wall and this wall actually do line up. And it does look like this, right? But you can see that the overhang down here, I've actually brought out quite a few blocks to make this little awning. And this wall is flush all the way down, but I am open to potentially changing it. And what this could potentially do if I decide to separate it, which actually, let me draw, I'll show you what I mean. So I'll go about down here, bring that across, and then I'll bring this about down to right here. I don't know how these proportions look, probably not great. Actually, you know what? I am going to bring this all the way over. And then what I can do is actually extend this one out here. All right, let's pretend that's lined up. As I said, I'm not a great artist with a pencil. Maybe if I do it on this side, it's a little easier to see. Okay, so bring that over, and essentially the idea is now you can outline these walls here. So it looks a little something like this. Just kind of a very loose drawing. Bring that all the way across, and bring this all the way up. So here, this wall is pushed back here, which should actually go here. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. So, well, I don't know. I don't know a lot of things. I don't know most things, actually. One of those things that I don't know is how to design a house without being extremely indecisive. I mean, jumping back into Minecraft here, like I wouldn't mind extending this one out and then kind of pushing this driveway back there a little bit, because I do have some space until we hit the trees. So that could be an option. And then it sort of creates a wall here. And then you could maybe make a little front porch here instead of it kind of sticking out into this driveway, which it kind of feels like right now. I could bring the walls out here and then it, I don't know, might feel a little bit more cozy. So I think I might actually do this. This is going to turn into a front porch, and then the front entrance is here. And instead of pushing the house in as it is, I'm actually going to bring it out a few blocks. And then it gives us more space for the bedrooms. There we go. So now we have the footprint of the house. This is the front porch. Let's figure out what shape we actually want this area over here to be. Because right now, it's sort of one block, another block, and then you have sort of another separate block over here with some bushes here. Since I kind of want to go for this angular roof, the question is, could I actually change the deck over here? Instead of being a block here, here, and here, since we have sort of this angular area, can I actually make a little something that connects it? And then maybe have a little choke point right here? So here's an idea. This way is south. this way is west. You have a row of trees here, and again, we're looking down, so this is actually the house right there. But the sun is going to set over this way. So if I have, let's see. If I bring this just out like that, and then I have this on sort of an angle like that, maybe it won't be as extreme, but this way you kind of get the sunset, right? So that this is maybe like a 90-degree angle, and then this is sort of like a choke point here. And just a little bit past this line. If I do something like this, so this is no longer going to be 90 degrees, so this is slightly different. But then maybe the pool actually goes like this instead. I'm just, thinking out loud here. A little bit something like this. So that down here, maybe you have some chairs. It's a little more private. And now you're kind of tucked away in a corner. Or maybe I could put a little barbecue down here or something. Or actually, maybe a barbecue would be a better fit up here. Then maybe if I wanted a little like outdoor dining table, I could do something here. Maybe a row of plants. Over here, I don't really know what I'd want, but I could have a couple more chairs maybe. Now, I need to be careful not to make these angles too extreme, because this is pretty geometric up at the house right now, and I don't want to take away from it too much. So whether or not these are going to be this angled, more angled, or maybe a little more kind of this way, I don't know yet, but we'll find out. So then if we bring this back, that goes like that. Obviously, this is a much larger version, but you kind of get the picture. But really the big idea here is you have the sun over here in the late afternoon or in the sunset, and then it is shining right here. So you can sit here and get all of that afternoon sun. And then kind of with the pool here as well. Right now it's more kind of tucked away in that, well, it's not tucked away, but it's pushed more right here, right? But this way, you kind of open it up a little bit, right? By pushing it out over this corner, and now you get a lot more sunlight. And, for a pool, especially in the summer, it's not incredibly warm here in Metro Vancouver. So ideally, if you can get as much sun as you can on that pool, that'd be great. And then this way, maybe I can have those bushes kind of tucked in here, like these large ones right here. And then I'm going to have a staircase somehow going down here. I don't know if it's going to be right here or over here, but this is the master bedroom, and I do want to create a little bit of separation here, so maybe I'll add some bushes, and I'll just add a little hatch on top of these patios. But essentially, you can come out here, you can have your morning coffee if you'd like, and then this, with these bushes, is now separate from the rest of this area. So now you're kind of tucked away in the trees, and then down here you have that cliff and the river. And I think this works pretty well, because you have the master bedroom here, and in the morning, the sun's going to be kind of over this way. So all of the sunlight is going to go like this. So still get some sunlight coming into this master bedroom just to wake you up a little bit, not too much, because you don't want sun completely blaring in all the time. Or maybe you do. I don't know. I personally don't. But having these bushes and then maybe some trees kind of down here, it's going to help filter that light and make it nice and soft. So in game, we can kind of see what that would look like. See right now, separate. But bring this out at an angle, bring it back kind of down like this. And what did I do? Out here, and here. Now I don't want to go over this edge too much, because I want to be conscious of property lines. But also, if I can afford a house like this, I'm rich, so I'm just going to bribe whatever officials are here. Now, moving over to this side, we do have the driveway coming in here, and then the car would be approximately right here. If this was my house, would not mind having some sort of shed or garage. I don't know if I'm going to go full-on garage, but having a little shed maybe over here might be nice just for some tools. I'm just going to add some trees here, just approximately. Looks a little something like that. That's not the actual place where they are, but you kind of get the picture. And I will draw a car. It's my very beautiful car. It's gorgeous. Now, if I can actually manage to finish this house, I do have a book that can actually help me quite a bit with figuring out what type of plants to use. We'll see if I get around to it. I also have another book that should be able to help me with some of the different systems. Something very important to keep in consideration as you are designing, especially houses, is what is the direction of the wind? Because if you can use the wind itself to cool and ventilate your space, then that's going to save you a lot of energy. Okay, here's the wind direction in Vancouver. You can see on the map here, my house is actually a little bit above here, but I feel like the data is probably more accurate for Vancouver. I don't know where they collect it, but you get the picture. But this is sort of what it looks like. I kind of wish it was in a little bit more detail. You can see it predominantly, at least in the summer, which, is when it's warmest. It blows from the south and the west, or the southwest. You got south and you got west, so the wind is blowing this way, which is actually quite good for our house, because it lines up with some of the windows. So let's see what we can do with that. So knowing that north is that way, during the summer, we're actually going to get a lot of wind that blows this way from the southwest. In the colder months, it's actually going to blow from the northeast. Now we still need to use that to our advantage, but it's mostly the summer that it's going to be for cooling. Now, here's sort of another unintended benefit. Over here, you have the kitchen. And if this roof pokes up this way, of course, when you cook, usually it gets pretty warm and hot air rises. So this way, it's actually going to go up here and then be funneled out here. And if I have a clear story window up top here, and if you can open it, then it's going to allow that heat to escape without, well, it's still going to radiate around to the other parts of the house. But hopefully it'll get concentrated up here and then pushed out rather than heating up this living room and everywhere else in the house as well. Hopefully. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but well, I was going to say we'll find out, but that's not necessarily true. Okay, so with that wind, I think that covers the ventilation component of it. Now definitely need to consider a few other things. To actually heat the space, there's a bunch of different ways to do that. Now, what I'd really like to do is use passive solar. So basically the idea is use the power of the sun and then heat it up. So that's sort of what I've been talking about with these south-facing windows, and you have the sun coming in here. So that will help heat up the space. Now, here's something interesting. If you use different materials inside of your house, for example, concrete, actually all materials do this, but concrete is a great example, we can take a look at this graph, and it shows something very interesting. So this is a graph of temperature versus time. You can see there's midnight, and noon. So this is a 24-hour period. Now, this solid line, this is approximately the outdoor temperature. But if you have a material, let's say, for example, concrete, this would be represented in orange. Now, this is something called thermal mass. Now, there's a concept called thermal mass, which basically means you have a material and it holds onto heat. So how well does it hold onto heat and how long does it last? So if we assume this orange is the temperature of, say, for example, a concrete floor that covers, well, maybe the whole base of the house, then the temperature would look a little something like this. So if you have your peak heat, say just for example, I know it's not super realistic, but say for example, throughout your day, your peak outdoor heat is at noon. Now, your concrete is still going to be heating up, and then there's actually going to be a delay called the thermal lag from where the maximum temperature of that concrete is actually going to be delayed by a little while. Now, whether it's actually right here at 7 p.m., I don't know. But either way, the idea is that this concrete or the thermal mass material, this is not an official term, by the way, the temperature of this material is going to stay higher while the temperature outside is going to go lower, which means if you look over here in the morning, it's still going to have some residual heat coming off of it. So it actually is going to heat your house in the early morning. Now, of course, this depends on a lot of different factors, which I'm not going to get into, but this is just the basic concept. So all this to say is that if you do want to include some sort of material within your house on a relatively big scale, then it can help you reduce your heating bill. Now, another technology that I'd like to use is called radiant flooring. And basically the idea is that if you have your house in the floor itself, you're going to have these little pipes that go back and forth throughout the entire floor. And basically the idea is that you have some hot water running through these pipes, and it actually goes down into the earth and collects heat from the earth itself to heat up your flooring, which then radiates out into your house. So that's why it's called radiant flooring. Now, since this roof is a V-shape and the water is going to go in here and then get collected in the middle, with this model here, I actually want it to run off this way, and then over here, I want to collect that water, and then we can use it in toilets or wherever else that you don't actually need to be able to drink it. But if you do want to drink it, then you can filter it. There's a whole bunch of different filters that you can use, and then you can turn it into potable water. Now, this house is also going to be attached to the grid of the city, so attached to your sewer system, attached to the power and the water as well. It's Minecraft. It doesn't actually exist. Maybe we'll build it. I don't know. But these ideas essentially reduce your dependency on the grid. Something else to consider is the power usage. So I made another graph here. Again, this is the time throughout a 24-hour period, and then this axis is the electricity usage. So at midnight, it's going to be pretty low right here with this first dashed line. That's when you're getting ready to go to work. So it will peak up a little something like this. It will remain sort of high throughout the day, potentially, depending on if you have somebody home. And then once you get home from work, which is this one up here, it will peak once again, and then it'll drop back down like this. Now, let's just imagine that we had some solar panels combined with being actually plugged into the city's power grid. A lot of the time, what cities will do is during peak hours, they have an extra surcharge. So maybe anything above right here, this is extra, and then maybe anything above here is extra as well. So if you want to avoid that with your solar panels, you could generate extra power right here. Well, not extra power, but you could kind of fill this demand and then ideally keep it below that. Now, I also may just be completely incorrect on this. Please don't quote me on any of this. But what you could also do is if you do have solar panels, you could essentially bring the extra power that you generate and then store it in a battery, and then you could use it on top of this instead of actually, generating that and then just immediately putting it into there. Because with your solar panels, you're going to be generating energy probably from about right here to here. So sunrise to sunset, this is going to expand or contract depending on the time of year and actually where you are. But the big idea is to try to avoid these extra fees on top. There's a lot more to this. I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert on this. So I don't know if this part is correct. The rest of this should make sense, I think. Architects in my comment section, do you mind helping me out with this? Now, if I really wanted to, I could also add a green roof on top of here with soil and then plants. That'll help with your local ecosystem because, of course, if you're building a house here, you are destroying some of the ecosystem. You can also combine it with your rainwater collection up top here. So with that being said, let's go back into Minecraft and see what we can do. Okay, let's make some progress. Okay, the roof is in place. Here's a bit of a problem, though. With these joists going side to side, that clear story window up there is actually blocked. So I might consider changing these joists to going back this way, which I think that's how I had it originally. Now, I think I may actually just keep these ones pushing out like this. I know they're not going to line up with that one. I don't know. I kind of like having them right here. It does look quite nice. I'm also not exactly sure about what to do with this roof line compared to that one up there. I think it looks a little bit wonky right now coming out, a little disproportionate, but we'll come back to that. Okay, I lowered this roof by 1 block, and I like the proportions a little bit better if I'm being completely honest with you. It does seem a little more down to earth, because the other one was quite high. Kind of like this. I also don't know how I feel about this glass. I low-key just want to get rid of the glass entirely. And I don't think that would be insane to do, because I've seen a lot of houses that actually do that. Not in real life, obviously, but in Minecraft, you take out the glass entirely, and then, from a distance back here, you can't really tell. And it kind of looks kind of nice. Let me actually give it a try. Just see how it looks. So that's no glass. Now, honestly, if I didn't tell you that there wasn't any glass, you might not be able to tell. Well, you could probably tell, especially with shaders. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about just going with no glass. But we'll leave it for now. So I'm going to leave it no glass, and I'll keep working away at this. But look at these clear story windows. See how nice that is? That's so nice coming through here. All that nice light. Oh, beautiful. Slowly turning out. I also adjusted this roof over here, so now it's on a bit of a slope. Yeah, it kind of pokes up a little bit here, and then I actually brought this section down, so it's nice and cozy down here. So 1, 2, 3 blocks, plus the 4th is these joists coming out here, but it looks a little something like that. But overall, I do kind of like these proportions just a little bit better. I don't really know. Oh, I screwed this up again. I'll fix that in a minute. With these roof lines, they now actually match with the low section and the high section of that one. I don't know if I'm going to keep it, but we will see. That also affects the daylight coming in here, because originally I did want it to block all of it coming in this way. But I don't know. We'll maybe do a daylight analysis if we have time. Now, here's a little idea. adding some spruce fences going up like this. So it kind of looks like you're creating some separation for the windows, but when you go up to it, the windows aren't actually there. And then obviously I need to consider what I'm doing down here. So maybe I'll do something like that. And you're probably asking yourself, hey Alpine, what's going on with these stairs here? So if I did have glass panes, they would go along this edge. And this actually acts as water collection. And then where does it go? I don't know. But let's pretend it goes that way. Let's change this flooring up here. I don't know if it's going to stay spruce planks, but maybe just for now. Now, what I really like about these joists is that it kind of makes it feel down to earth. But of course, this roof is not completely flat, so you do get that sunlight as well. But I don't know, it just makes it feel a little more cozy. I'm also a really big fan of some of these burnt colors. Like when I use dark wood like this, I mean, there's some orange tones in here, so I kind of like to mix it with these ones here. And instead of, like if I want white walls, I'm not just going to use white concrete. I like these mushroom stems because it gives it like a very subtle wave texture. Now these walls up top are a little bit finicky. Now I tried to extend it as high as I could, but of course this slab roof makes things a little difficult. So I'm going to do something a little bit like this, and hopefully this actually works. That was a pretty decent amount of progress, but obviously it looks a little bit different now. So let me walk you through some of the changes. I have added these little campfires. This is one of my favorite tricks for chimneys. Just sneak some campfires in there, and it looks like you got some smoke coming out, which is pretty nice. And now I have this nice pool, which I think is pretty great. I still used the ladder technique here, and up top instead I used some fence gates, and then I opened them this way. So it kind of looks like the top of a ladder. Just very, very subtle. From a material and structural perspective, I think the house looks pretty good as it is. Over here, I did end up using some stripped oak wood. I know it's not exactly the same type, but I kind of kept it just over there. And then, did I use it anywhere else? I don't think so. I think it's just those walls over there, which I think is okay in this particular instance. I think I am going to use the strategy of just not using any glass in this house, maybe with the exception of right here. Again, I don't know what this is going to look like. Yeah, I mean, if you're playing survival, you're going to have creepers and zombies coming in here all the time, and then they'll eat you alive, which is obviously not great. But we're in creative here, so I think it's going to be okay. I still have a lot of work to do on the outside. I want to change this up somehow. I don't think I'm actually going to push this out. I think it's okay as it is. And I know in the drawing it was pushed out a little bit, but I think it is all right for now. I have to come back here and do this fence. There's a lot of landscaping I have to do. I want to figure out this particular area. Need to make it a little more inviting because there's not a whole lot of curb appeal at the moment. But I'll figure something out. And over here, I want to add a little garden, little patio. Then I'll add some separation between this more public area and then this kind of private garden. Not sure how I'm going to do that yet. Maybe I'll have a staircase going down here. I don't know. But I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back, and then we'll start on the interior. But I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back and get this interior, the landscaping, and some decorations done as well. With the exterior substantially complete, it was time to transform the wool blocks into interior furnishings, partition walls, and appliances. I was especially looking forward to seeing how the conversation pit would evolve, and how my designs would be influenced by the sunlight streaking across the house.
All right, let's do it. Get her done. Here's a little design for the dining room table. Pretty simple. We'll see if I actually end up keeping the chairs or not. For a couple of the windows, I think I'm just going to put some barriers, just so that if you do want to play in survival, you know, don't get any mobs coming in. Except for these ones. I'm going to leave these ones open, so it doesn't really matter. Do a little something like this for the kitchen. 6 burners, of course. Going to turn those ovens on. Got a fridge. I still have to do the range hood and the cabinets up top. Little sink, tripwire hook, and some calcite on the bottom. Bar stools. So far, so good. And for the range hood, I'll take some polished diorite slabs.
I'll connect it to some stairs and then some other slabs. And then I will bring it through the roof and do a little something like this right on top. Some little coat hangers right there. These green blocks are going to be for plants. I don't know what kind, but there will be plants. Now for the living room, let's start by taking this out. What about that? I do like this flooring. I also use it over in the kitchen here. But I don't know how I feel about this teal. I also use teal right here. I don't know. It might be a little too much, to be honest with you. What about something like that? Now, I know there's no cushions just yet, but beds could work. Honestly, in this warm light, it kind of gives off like an orangey tone. I guess that's what brown is, but I think it matches quite well. Might add a little painting here. One of the relatively new ones. I did not know that this existed, but looks pretty cool. I try not to overdo it with too many entities, because I don't want to lag out, and I don't want to make anybody else lag out. I think that's okay. That works. So now it looks like this. And I lowered the sun in the sky a little bit so that it's kind of a little bit nicer down here with all the sunlight. I like it. Kind of want to do something about this. This orange also might be... well, that's not awful. But let's try something a little more subtle. Yeah, that works. I think I'm going to keep that for now and kind of let the eye wander over this way. Additionally, I've also added a handful of banners to act as curtains. But if you do back up far enough, just like the signs, they do disappear. But honestly, I think it's okay for here. It's kind of, it makes it feel a little bit more soft, you know? I think it looks all right. Change the fireplace design up just a little bit. Okay, couple of updates. Looks a little something like this. I added this at the very back. I changed it so it's kind of a diagonal cut right here. And I'm going to be honest with you, I stole this from Beppis, who is one of the builders here in the city of Sequoia. This is Beppis' design. So thank you, Beppis. Have a couple of plants just hanging out, but I'll come back out here and finish that later. I also added a washer and a dryer and a little lamp in here with a button on top. Just, I don't know, when it's night, kind of emits a little glowing from the closet. I have also decided to open this up, have a couple of skylights. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know if I'll do the same thing here or not. I honestly like this so much that I may actually do something over here too. I just have to be careful not to, you know, blind myself when I wake up in the morning, depending on the angle of the sun and the time of day. But I'll figure something out. Could do a little one here, and then that is just in the bathroom. It's kind of nice. But oh man, as you walk out here, look at that. That's good. Oh, I love skylights. Haha, that's very nice actually. Okay. Let's see here. The left is going to be a shower. This is going to be a toilet. Then you have the sink. First step, get rid of that. Let's add some shower tile. Probably a little drain here as well. And then, let's see. So there's a couple different options that I could use. We could use something like this. We could go for the classic lever. And since I am able to, we could add the button on it as well. This might be a little low, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's pretty low. You know what? I fit. It's fine. I'm keeping it. I'm just going to use this for the tile since it matches the foundation out here. And then if I teleport to an old cabin that I built in one of my other videos, and by the way, this is an actual Airbnb near Vancouver that I stayed at. I'm going to sort of steal what I did here. And we teleport back. We can put our toilets there. Let's see here. So I'm going to go like this, and I don't know why I have 2 quartz stairs, but we'll do that. That is the mirror. And, okay, how can I get this to work? What if I do this, and then just stack it up? Okay, there you go. It's kind of like a fancy glass, almost. A little skylight up top. Yeah, it's nice. You can actually walk through it if you wanted to. Yeah, nice little shower here. And then, of course, I brought this wall up a little bit. Then once you get out of the shower, actually, I'm going to let me try that again. I'm going to turn the toilet this way so that you're facing over this way instead of like that. Not that it really matters, but I want to have that. So that is your little bath mat once you step out. And I'll just take some white carpet here. And there you go, little toilet for some toilet paper. Throw a little button right there. I could maybe add some artwork here. How's that? Is that one of the new ones? It's kind of fun. All right, I'm keeping it. Cool, so that is done. You can also see in some of the design language, I can't remember if I talked about this, but basically I bring the wall down like this. And you can see there's intended to be a door wherever that is. So same thing here, and then same thing here. Oh, I almost forgot. There you go, little towel for when you get out of the shower. Okay, so that's done. This is pretty much done. This hallway looks pretty good. Let's go to the guest bedroom. I would like to add some banners here, just for a little privacy. That was the wrong ID. There you go, 78:5. Then actually I might bring it down to 78:4. And there you go. So I kind of like this design, because if you're in survival, you can actually sleep here. And then you do have that pillow there as well, but it works. Okay, got a little TV at the end, a plant, a little closet here with some clothes, and I kept it pretty basic. Some spruce logs, decorating as if it's 1.12, but don't worry about it. It's fine. All right, moving on to the master bedroom. Yeah, that looks all right. It's pretty simple. This nice big window up top here. You can kind of see the road there. That blue thing is going to be the fence. Still have to do that. But yeah, so far interior is looking pretty good. I think that should be everything for the interior. Maybe? Are we done? I have no clue. I'm so tired. I've been working on this house for so long. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time to work on the exterior. Finally, let's do some landscaping and decorations. After completing the interior, it was time to turn my attention to the surroundings of the house, the landscaping. How do you create an inviting outdoor space to host guests, mixed with private escapes for your morning coffee? This is a challenge that I would attempt to tackle. Now it is time to landscape. So I'm going to give myself some inspiration, and then we're going to get to work. Unfortunately, I can't show you the contents of this because it's copyrighted, but just trust me on this. I'm really looking forward to getting this house done, because I've been working on it for pretty well close to 2 months now. For this landscaping, let's start off with this fence, which I actually think I may use something similar to this house adjacent to me, where I basically just have like a big hedge. So what do you got? Can I just steal your materials? It's good for continuity. All right. That looks pretty good. Let's go back over here. So what I'm actually going to do right here, maybe, I'll add a little walkway, probably just straight across. I'm going to have to dig into this, make some stairs, but we'll leave that as sort of a gate. Across here, I'll probably have some sort of fence or something just to, give me a little privacy behind there. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just going to use a hedge. And then for the entrance, do something like this. And then maybe for the stairs, I'll just have sort of like a different texture or something. I don't know. Then basically just bring it straight like this. Why is there a hole here? Hello? Somebody tunneling under my house? What's going on here? Let me, okay, that's odd. That's not supposed to be there. All right, there you go. And over here, just as a little entrance, I'm gonna do a little something like this, bring that up by 2, and then on top, have a little something like that. And then over here, maybe just something real simple, something like this. I don't know exactly how it opens or closes, but let's pretend it's on a hinge and opens that way. I don't know what it's connected to, but we'll pretend there's something really, really thin there. I think it's pretty nice. Walk down here, brings you straight to the front door. A little unconventional for a front door, but I did want it to be closed, so cool. All right, let's go back out and make more progress. Now, heading over to the east side of the house, we need to pay particular attention about how we landscape this, because this is the master bedroom. That is going to be another house slot right over there. So I do want to make it quite bushy, probably along there. And then I want to create some division between this area and this more private garden area as well. So let's go over here. Shout out to Dean, one of our builders here. He has supplied me with a bunch of these bushes, so I'm gonna put them to good use. We'll start with the ones between here. I do need to be careful. Well, I don't know actually. I might have to go a little more thin there, just because I do have the stairs and I don't wanna encroach on this. So, okay, let's see here. Okay, I just woke up in the morning and I don't want to see my neighbors. Where does the bush go? I still kind of want to see, well, I don't need to see the skyline from like right here, but once you come out here, then you get to see the skyline. Cool, let's keep that. Let's rotate it so it looks like a different bush, and maybe do something similar. Maybe here-ish. It's not bad. And I would actually like to give myself just a tiny little staircase. Maybe I'll add some bushes to hide that later, but I can also do this, give it a little texturing. You can also see up into the mountains there, but I believe there is, oh yeah, there's gonna be another house right here as well. So maybe I kind of want to do something in the way there, maybe. And this is my sort of bush fence. I could make it a little bit taller, but yeah, if you have a house up here, then, you know, they can like really see into your bedroom, even though the bed's kind of tucked back in the corner, which, you know, it makes it a little bit better. Maybe I'll add something quite bushy right there. So I have a tree on my clipboard. Let's, that looks all right. Problem solved. Now that way, the tree blocks it. So there you go. Much better. Now, if I fly over to our Point Grey warp, my house is hiding, where is it? Right there. See it? And way over here, there is a little tree that I like to use. And if we go back, then I can move this little tree into place. There's one that is still quite young, which is why the wrap is around it here with the, is that diorite? I think it's, and it's, no, diorite. That's diorite. I definitely know my blocks. Basically, it's going to turn into a big bushy tree at some point. And I think right here is maybe a nice little spot for it. So let's put it there. Haha. There's another little one here too. This one is by my friend Rainy. So maybe I could use that here-ish. Maybe. Actually, I don't want it too close to the house because when it grows, it's, you know, it's gonna be close. Actually, I'm gonna move it right there. I just want to make it a little more dense in here. Make it feel, well, kind of like a forest. Oh, also, I didn't show you guys. I did this off camera, but there's a lot of buildings in Vancouver that use chains to get water off the roof. Sort of. The water's funneled to a particular area, in this case, this corner, and then it actually connects to this chain. And then I think it's something with the surface tension where it wants to touch the chain and then go all the way down. So over time, the chain rusts, and then it looks a little something like this. Sometimes they just have the chains like drooping all the way down and they kind of like sway at the bottom. But other times they have it actually like linked to something at the bottom. In this particular case, this fence. So this is the other drainage here. So the water comes down here, it flows this way. You're just going to have to pretend that there's a very subtle slope. And then it goes through here, connects down here, and then goes down this way. I may end up doing something with water collection. Maybe we could store it. I don't know. We'll think about that when the time comes. But already, even with the addition of a handful of bushes and a couple of trees, it's looking quite cozy. And honestly, what I might do here is just do the same thing that I did behind me. I don't know why I'm pointing behind me. I'm in Minecraft. Hey guys, look behind me. Huh? Oh, never mind. But I can just kind of use the same idea and throw a little something up there, make a little hedge. It's pretty simple, keeps it nice and clean. And then I did accidentally break all of the grass here, so I'm gonna slowly add some stuff back. Just try to populate it a little bit. Some large ferns maybe. Just, you know, spruce it up. I am a very big fan of large ferns. So much so that sometimes I've spammed them a little too often, so I'm going to try to restrain myself. No promises. Now, what I'm also going to do, I'm going to change this to gravel for two different reasons. First of all, it's a nice path going around this house. And actually, along the foundation of the house, sometimes, depending on your climate, you'll actually see like loose gravel or rock, like basically adjacent to the house. So the idea with that is you don't want water pooling up against your foundation. So by having gravel or something that is a little more porous, it's going to allow the water to go into that, and then you can kind of like redirect it out of the way. So just on this side here too, I got to do the same thing. Sorry, plants. Too bad. And around here, I'm actually going to make this a little wider, just for some extra drainage. And bring this all the way over there. There you go. Looks pretty good. And maybe here I'll kind of make it look like it's slowly dispersing into there, I guess. I know they used green wool here for some of the texturing. I think I am actually going to keep it. I know it's not super realistic. I don't know. I think the texturing looks pretty good, so I think I am going to keep it. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a real classic design that I think, well, some of you are going to appreciate. There you go. So these are just a couple of logs that I have yet to chop up. But once I do chop it up, I will have lots of firewood. And down here, what I might actually do is place some firewood, place a mud brick wall, and let's see here. So what I can do is I kind of want to make it look like logs that are like stacked vertically, and it's sort of like surrounded by like a little barrel or something. Actually, hold on. If we teleport to my cabin that I built in one of my older videos and fly all the way up here and head inside, there's actually a design that I want to use. And it looks like this. So a little bit of debugged walls, but if I take this and go back and just paste it over top, there you go. Looks a little something like that. Cool. I think I'm going to keep that. Okay. Once again, let's take a look at our plan here. So obviously it doesn't look exactly the same, but the pool is indeed here. I do want some chairs that you can lounge in, maybe a little barbecue. Definitely, if we're going to have a barbecue, you need to have an outdoor table space. And then maybe over here, just another couple of lounge chairs. Keep it nice and simple. So for the barbecue, let's actually go back into the city because there's a very specific design that I'd like to steal. Okay, here we are in East Village. Let's, I think it's up here. Oh, never mind. That was underwhelming. It's a furnace with a pressure plate. Whatever, that's fine. That works. And back here, I really did not need to teleport all the way there for that. I think maybe over here would be quite nice. Here, maybe? That works. I need to add some sort of railing along here as well, but for now I'm just going to do this, and then we'll leave the rest of the design for later. Actually, there is a design that somebody used over here, which I kind of like. I could potentially do that. Maybe, I think like a glass fence along there could be quite nice. I don't know. Let's give it a try. For the pool itself, I actually don't want to put anything along here because, like, you know, you're swimming up and then you swim up to the edge. Just don't, you know, fall off. And then I don't need one here, but once you get out here, I feel like it's pretty important. I didn't capture that, but I just broke all of the greenery. All right, that's fine. I'll fix that in a minute. And you go right there. Whatever, I think I was gonna landscape that anyway. I'm gonna keep this real simple, something like that. And then the hood, so it's like open, you know? So, okay, couple options. What if I take a pressure plate? That could also work. Or some carpet, perhaps. But basically, I'm just looking to put, oh, come on. If I go over here and grab this, wait. Hold on, is this gonna break everything again? Okay, we're good. There you go. We're fine. Everything's fine. How do I... What did I break? I don't remember. There was something else under here. What is that thing? Hello, what are you? Diorite. I feel like that was probably here. Well, okay. That's fine. It's fine. It's fixed. Everything's fine. And then I'm just gonna come in here and then steal this table design again. I'm honestly, probably just gonna copy the whole thing. And you can come out here. I don't want the table outside of the master bedroom, so maybe I'll put it... Yeah, that works. And then we'll just take these same chairs. Actually, no, I'm going to change it up. Something like that. Nice and simple. That works. That's all right. Now, if I wanted to, I could do some fancy umbrella design, but I think I'm just going to leave it for now. Now, if you're grilling over here and you don't want to talk to everybody and everybody's, you know, yapping away, they're going to be over there in that corner. Then you're over here just enjoying this view and a little bit of peace and quiet. Obviously, just be careful if you're coming out of the pool right here. Don't bump into the grill. And, of course, you got to have something to cook, so we'll put a little chest there. For the chairs, something simple like this. Nice lounge chair. And number 2. Cool. Looks good. Normally, I don't like to mix the different types of wood, but I think in the case of this house, it does actually work, especially because I'm using shaders and there's a lot of different shadows that kind of change the brightness or the darkness. So it's kind of hard to tell anyway. So I don't know. I think it works. Little table and chairs over here for your morning coffee. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of want to move this over here. How's that? I actually like that better. I know it's a little bit of a walk from the barbecue all the way around here and then to here. But, you know, if you're having a nice supper right here, it's kind of nice being right there. Kind of tucked away a little bit. It's quiet, hopefully. Well, maybe not with the pool party here. Feels a little more intimate, which is nice. Also, if you're cooking in the kitchen, like, you know, you can walk out this way anyway. But here it feels a little more social now that I'm kind of walking around and now that I've moved it. But, you know, if you have a bunch of people over for a nice big pool party, they're going to want to come out this door and kind of hang out right here. So if you do have a table right there, it does feel like it kind of blocks it a little bit. So maybe that's just me trying to talk myself into saying it's the right place. I don't know. But what I can do now is move those, which I think is actually a better spot for them. Now this is more the grill master space. Now, when you do have people over, then let's just pretend that you do have a bunch of these curtains hanging along here as well, and you can close them if you do want to. Actually, I'm just going to add them. There you go. Let's pretend that those are kind of like scrunched up in the corners. Cool. Yeah, that works. Nice. I honestly really love this pattern too. Like I used it in one of my old builds, which is, let's see if we can find that building. It's around here somewhere. I think it's hiding back here. Oh yeah, wait. That one way back there with the white. Yeah, it's hiding in there somewhere, but I used it once and now I like using it everywhere. Also, wait a second, what's going on with this roof? That's not supposed to look like that. Okay, there you go. I've also decided to add a handful of large pots, and I like to add a bunch of the small ones here as well, just to kind of, you know, make it feel a little bit more alive, but added a few in this corner here as well. There you go, fixed that part up. Looks a little better. I might spread it out a little bit over here too. I don't want to go too far down on that slope, but maybe I'll just add a little fern or something here as well, just to even it out. There you go. Okay, not bad. I'm making an assumption that there's some structural support underneath here because it is a little bit of a cantilever, but I think that's okay. Looks nice and clean. Now, taking a look at it here, this spot and this spot are a little bit empty. I don't actually know if I want to put anything in there because having that negative space is actually kind of nice. I don't want to like overwhelm it or anything, but it looks pretty good. Cool. So I'd say this is pretty well done on the outside here. I can always add more later if I want to, but I think I got pretty much everything I needed according to my plan. Nice little spot down here. Then the little path goes around the back here, and added another little bush right there. And oh, I could add, hold on, I'm gonna fill this in too. And maybe what I'm actually gonna do, I will put a little something there so that, you know, if I do need to go around this side of the house, which does happen sometimes, go down here, take a step down, and I can walk back this way. So yeah, cool. I think the landscaping is pretty much done unless I discover something else. Cool. What's next? Oh, I know what to do next. Let's add some solar panels on the south-facing roof, which would be this one facing that way. See, lots of sunlight because we're in the northern hemisphere. We're going to connect it to a battery storage unit. Then we're going to take a look at maybe some water collection to reuse in the house. So you're going to have to bear with me. You're going to have to use your imagination here a little bit. But we have the solar panel up top here. And then how does it actually connect to the battery storage, and where do we put the battery storage? Okay, so let's pretend it's connected in this corner and then goes through this thing here and then down underground. And then down here, we can maybe add some batteries. And before I touch the water collection, remember how I was talking about that radiant flooring with the tubes going through it? Like this thing here, these tubes, and then it connects down there? Well, using the power of imagination, oh look, it's already there. Imagine that. Who would have thought? Wow, look, it's connected to the water barrel things. So let's just, again, use your imagination. Pretend the water pool's here, comes down this way. So some water is going to go into right here, which I will replace in a second. And it'll go down here through a pipe that is in this wall. It's there, don't worry about it. And then it goes into right here. So now you have this water that you can use in your toilets or for non-potable water. And any of the excess water goes down here and then goes down through this chain and then down into the ground as it normally would. Now you remember how we talked about the ventilation and the wind going this way? Well, again, if you use your imagination, I know there's no wind in Minecraft, but let's pretend that there is. The wind is going to flow through here, and if those windows are open, you're going to get a nice breeze that goes all the way through the house, and then this way, and then it'll go back out through this window, or just all the way across and through this window as well. And for your cooling, if you have a really hot day and maybe you have all 6 burners going at once, and then maybe the range hood isn't, you know, it can't capture everything, especially not heat. So with this roof going up with this shape, now the heat goes up here, and instead of getting pushed over this way, it's actually going to go up here and then get pushed out the windows that hopefully you can actually operate right there. You may also notice that up on the very top here, I have added little buttons, just as a little detail. I couldn't add them here because there's a slab. I know it's a little dark, but up top, just a nice little detail, so it looks like something's going straight through it. And one last detail for you. I wanted a little bit of light above this table, so no, never mind. That's kind of too distracting, to be honest with you. Instead, I'm going to use a command and add a light block right here with a level of 7. Is that enough? Let's try 10. There you go. So very, very subtle, but I think it'll look pretty nice at night. If we change the time to 9 p.m., it's quite dark, but this is sort of what the house looks like. So you can definitely still see in the kitchen, and it's very dark out here. Should I add some lights? It looks very spooky out this way. I probably wouldn't want to go out here at night, but yeah, looks a little something like that. This is nice in here. There you go, little lamp, and then that one's coming in handy. Over here you have the fire, but yeah, Pretty good. Now that that's all done, I think the house could be considered substantially complete. You could give the clients the keys at this point. I don't think there's anything major that's missing. One thing that I could improve on in the future is figuring out how to texture this roof, but it's a little bit difficult just because it is slabs. At this point, I had to make a decision. Do I continue to refine every detail, or do I save it for another day? I chose to save it for another day. As a Minecraft builder, there's always something to improve, an element to analyze, or a new skill to learn. I could perform an analysis on the impact of daylight, optimize window and wall designs for thermal performance, estimate the energy demand profile throughout the day with implications to the power grid connections and output of solar panels, or even calculate the estimated rainfall that will be collected into the water cisterns for use within the house itself. There's a good chance I'll revisit this house in the future talking about all of that, but today is not that day. At this point, with the interior and landscaping done, let's pretend I'm a real estate agent and go for a tour of the house. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go on a little bit of a tour, why don't we? Okay, so you are here in the city of West Vancouver, here in the city of Sequoia, or neighborhood of West Vancouver, whatever, doesn't matter. We're here in the city of Sequoia, and this is my house. So you have a little driveway. I guess it does need a house number. We'll figure that out later. But nice little entrance over this way. Here's the front door. It's a little bit unconventional to open, but I'm going to show you how to do that because it is made of trapdoors. But here is my nice little car here. Little design that I've been using here and there. And then a cantilever just to keep it dry. Now, I do have a front porch, which I think is pretty nice. If we take a little sneak peek, the kitchen is right there. Back this way, it's very forested. But let me take you around this way. So, little driveway. If you wanted to, you could put up maybe a motorcycle in here. And then this way, along the edge here, you have the drainage, just because you don't want water up against that foundation. But back here, this is adjacent to the master bedroom. Again, you have a nice little cantilever roof thing. What do you call that? What's the name of that thing? The part of the roof that extends, the eave? Is that what it is? Anyway, over here you have a nice little place to have your morning coffee. And then there is a nice little spot in there to have a fire. So some firewood that I still need to chop up. Down here, it brings you down towards the river and the ocean. But if we go back up this way, here is the south side with the south facade. Lots of sunlight. It's really, really nice, especially in the morning. I have the time set to 10 a.m. By the way, great view, which we're going to see as we go in this house. But a nice big pool. You can swim around and a couple ladders to get out. Nice barbecue over here. We do have some beef, which I can turn into steak here. Nice lounge chairs here as well. Big dining table, handful of plants, and a place, once again, to have your morning coffee. The living room is located right in here, and we do have some clear story windows up top. But let's go around this side. Oh yeah, your water storage. And let's go in the front door. So you're coming up to this house and you're wondering, hey, wait a second, how do I actually open this door? You do have a doorbell. You have a handle to open the door, but to actually get in the house, you open those, press shift, and then you go in. Make sure to close that on your way out. As you come inside, you're greeted with this beautiful view of the city that is not even close to being done. But this is the neighborhood of Point Grey, hiding way, way, way over there. I built that house, by the way. You have a handful of ships on the horizon, but it's quite nice. Now, I did really want to use some skylights. I'm a big fan of skylights, but you don't want to overdo it. You do have to be careful with that. And on the right, you have a nice big kitchen. I did use some dried kelp blocks just as the flooring. It's some of my favorite to use. I don't know. It's kind of nice. It looks like tile. You have a fridge made with some pistons, a very, very large stove, and some ovens down here as well. You have the range hood up top, which does indeed connect to a little thing that pokes out above the roof. There is a nice big counter here, lots of sink space, and I really wanted to give you a nice view of the forest that kind of surrounds it there. Now, I do have a neighbor who is hiding behind that hedge, but thanks to that hedge and all of these trees, it allows me to have these nice big windows without it being too open. Before we go into the living room, I want to show you this bathroom. So immediately you can hang up your coat, obviously, and then you have some plants. But as you come into this bathroom or washroom, depending on where in the world you are, nice skylight up here, which is great. Now, with this particular window, this is the shower, by the way. I originally had it so that the window was 2x2, but of course, that's not great, especially when it's a shower. So I decided to bring it up a little bit and just keep it as a 2x1 right up top. We do have these joists that do span the entire length of the house. As you can see, they're just spruce signs, but nice little towel, little bath mat, toilet paper, some artwork, and a sink and a mirror. Coming back out this way, this is what it looks like. Pretty nice. Over here, you do have the skyline of downtown Sequoia. So this area back here is based on New York, and then more in the foreground, these ones are based on Vancouver. You'll have to check out my other videos for that to make a little more sense. This is my very nice dining table. I stole this design from Beppis. Thank you, Beppis. Appreciate that. But I mean, when you have shaders, look at all these lights coming in. Look how nice that is. That's very pretty. And down here, nice little sunken living room, which I'm a big fan of. I see that all the time in like mid-century modern different houses. But it's a conversation pit, if you will. Nice fireplace down here. Obviously, we have fire spread turned off because I'm pretty sure this can catch on fire. Most things around here probably could. Over here, little bookshelf. Nice view out this way. A couple of boats. We have the Evergreen. It is no longer stuck in the Suez Canal. It is now in the city of Sequoia. Taking a mud brick wall, I have turned it into some logs, which I have just stacked vertically. Now, if we head up this way, a couple different options to explore. Well, actually, first of all, check out these clear story windows. Clear story windows are these ones up top here. And then with the shape of the roof, it does taper down this way. I know it's very hard to see right now, but if I fly up here, sorry to ruin the immersion, but it does go down like that. And for the windows themselves, I did use barriers. So you can kind of see that right there. But I did decide to keep this open here. So you can walk through here. And if you want to come in the house and then go outside, these are just big windows that you can open up. So that's sort of where I used those barriers. Now, before I show you the bedrooms down that way, of course, you can walk out here onto this beautiful outdoor space. I may decide to put something here later. One of my friends is building me a tree right now. I don't know if I'm going to use it here or somewhere else, but I have yet to decide. Either way, you get lots of sun in the morning, so the sun's going to come up here. This is 10 a.m., noon would be about here. And then later in the evening, which is actually why I angled this way, you're going to get that evening sunlight. So if you want to have a bite to eat over here, closer to 6 p.m., this is a great time and a great place to have it. Over this way, you can have your morning coffee, just kind of tucked in the corner, quite nice. I have lots of plants here, which I'm a very big fan of. But over here, you have a nice big pool. Little shallow end here, and then a little bit of a deeper end over here. Nice ladder. Come on out. Big barbecue over here. The nice view while you're grilling. Those are some templates. Don't mind that. I still have to delete those. Then obviously the rest of this is not done. The river, work in progress. It'll get finished at some point. This is the master bedroom, but before I do that, I'm going to go back in here. And we will go this way. First of all, you have a closet with your washer and your dryer, or your washer and your dryer. Doesn't matter which one's above the other. Oh well. Back here, little lamp with a end rod and a button on top. Over here, you have the guest bedroom. Little plant in the corner. A nice bed. A couple of nightstands here. Little TV. And a nice little closet here as well. And once again, I did use barriers here, so you cannot jump. I guess it's a wall anyway. You couldn't jump over it. I was thinking about using glass, but then I thought, I kind of like it, so it feels much more open. You got to kind of use your imagination, though, a little bit. But I'm a big fan of these curtains here as well. Anyway, we will go back outside. So if you're in the guest bedroom, you come out in the morning, this is your view, which is quite nice. If you turn left and go down this way, this is the master bedroom right in here. So lots of space in here. You have a nice big closet. You have an ensuite, same idea as the other washroom. Just looks like that. Very, very, very simple. This is the door, which kind of, you can scoot out here. So it's actually two different trapdoors. A nice large bed. And if you want to set your respawn point, you can do that. But a little headboard back there with some lamps. And then a window up just like that. Nice little plant in the corner. Here, again, I have those barriers. But if you do want to go outside on your personal patio, go out this way. And it's pretty nice. You can go down here. Nice little, well, it's sort of a garden. More just like a nice forested spot. Have your coffee right here if you want. And then, of course, you have that wood. And then I did mention you can come down here and then go down to the beach or the river. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. That is my house. Looks a little something like that. So, after a long journey of inspiration, checking out the site in person, some 3D modeling, building the house itself, starting with the structure, creating floor plans, adding appliances and furniture, going back and redesigning all of the materials in the house, furnishing the house, designing the landscape, and then revisiting some of the systems that make the house unique. I would say that we could call this house substantially complete. In future videos, there's so much more that I want to do with this house. If I could contact an architect in Vancouver and get them to roast this house, that would be great. But we'll see where it takes us. Now, with that being said,
This is perfect. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, you too.